Hey guys, what's going on? So I don't do a lot of these, mostly because I don't necessarily know if it's that interesting of a video, but I thought that I would do one, maybe just for myself, I suppose. This is a snapshot. It is the beginning of November, and this is just a snapshot of my entire account. The only time you would ever be able to see this is if I was doing a live stream, and then you could like casually, as I was scrolling through this, you would basically know like, all my cards and my card level. I just wanted to kind of talk about that. And see like where my account is, my plans for the future, or the immediate future. You don't really plan too far ahead into the future. But where I want my account to go, what I'm working at, what I'm working towards. I'm trying to farm some gold currently. Playing some co-op so I can farm some gold, so I can make sure that I have that 40,000 just in case a legendary comes into my shop. Every so often I drop down below 1,643,000 gold, and it gets a little scary. So I have maxed out basically everything. I've maxed out all commons, epics, and rares. The ones that took the obvious long amount of time were these two because they came in way late, and they were the newest common epic rare that we have gotten so far. It surprises me that there is still not a common or rare dark, and I don't know, like when you go through like the commons, epics, and rares, it's weird that there are some things that where there's nothing. I think this one doesn't have a rare. That's a common, a rare, and an epic. That's a common, rares, and epics. Common, rare, epic. And for some reason, just epics, which I find very strange that they have not bothered to make a common and a rare, like to introduce a new unit and it's a common or rare dark. Not that I think that everybody would use them, but I mean, like, it just feels weird that there's not even one in the game. But beyond that, I have maxed out every common, epic, and rare. I finally maxed out the Portal Mage. I obviously did that to the Vampire as soon as that came out. I've basically upgraded all of my commons, epics, and rares to max in terms of talents as well. That was just to do it. Not because I thought that I was going to use any of them in any serious capacity, but just to do it. And just in case you were wondering, I do still have kind of a lot of cores. Like, you can max out everything over the course of time and still have a reasonable amount of cores. I'm really low on magic council because I just upgraded my Portal Mage to max. But even in terms of this, I maxed out my enchant sword, and that's why every single time I try to upgrade witch, I keep sacrificing it, and because like I'd rather upgrade the other thing first. So in this case, like, I have a demon hunter that can be at 11 right now, and so if I get a witch and I really want to upgrade it to 11 so that I can get so I can finally use that polymorph, like super cool polymorph talent that nobody cares about, because they always use the other one. I keep wanting to do it, and then I'm like, yeah, but I should probably upgrade this thing. So I just end up sacrificing the witch. I think I've sacrificed at upwards of 10 witches. Like, I could probably have like a level 13 witch right now, and in most cases, maybe that might have been the best option because of Gift of the Raven is just kind of ruling the world right now. But you make decisions in this game. In terms of legendaries, this is what my legendary pool looks like. I only have the two max legendaries, which are Blade Dancer and Enchant Sword. I do have everything, at least something of everything. And most of the things I try to get to 9. Riding Hood I couldn't get to 9, and then Hex I just don't care about enough to upgrade that at all. But everything else, I had a rule for myself a long time ago that I wanted to get everything up to 9. And that wasn't for any reason. This was pre-talents. That wasn't for any reason other than, I liked that when you get to 9, that's when you're using one extra copy to upgrade from 7 to 8 and then 8 to 9. And then by the time you get to 9 to 10 and beyond, you're starting to need investment into it. You need the like 3 copies and the copy. And that is some sort of that's kind of an investment into that card. And I was like, well, if I really like this card, then I will go that extra mile. But at the very least, one extra copy or one extra crystal is not going to kill me, right? And so that was my reasoning for upgrading most things to 9, and that ended up benefiting me because then when they came up with talents, your first talent is at 9, and in most cases, or in a lot of cases, the level 9 talent completely changes the mechanics of a unit. Like Dark Inquisitor, or Inquisitor into Dark Inquisitor, Light Inquisitor, or Blade Dancer into Blooming Dash and Floral Frenzy. So I like that I made that rule for myself. But if I had to go back again with all of the knowledge that I have currently, I don't think I would have done it. I think I would have just targeted the best thing. Like if I thought that something was the best thing, then I would just pour all my resources into that, as opposed to like upgrading this card. Like for instance, Demonologist. I never use it. I never really plan on using it. But that thing is at 9. And the amount of copies that I could have used to upgrade something else, I probably would do that and leave Demonologist at a 7, knowing all of its talents. But that's what happens over the course of the game. The only other things to note, I did get a second copy of Inquisitor, and I've had a second copy of Night Statue. Both of those are at 14. And so I think, because I have the second copy on both of those, I'm just going to naturally upgrade it to 15 as soon as I get either copy for either. That is going to be my next 15 unit. That seems like an easy choice. As soon as I get like an Inquisitor, I'm just going to save the next 9 crystals and upgrade that. If I get a Night Statue, I'm going to save the 9 crystals for that. And those are going to be as soon as I get either of those, that's going to be my next upgrade. I get a Book of Secrets this month, because I'm at 3, and then, it's once every 2 months. And, by the end of this pass, I will have a Book of Secrets. I'm going to upgrade my Spirit Master. Originally I was planning on using the Book of Secrets on the Inquisitor that I only had the 1 copy for, but since I got the second copy, I was just like, I'm just going to wait. And using a Book of Secrets on a legendary, or on a, event unit, is probably the best thing that you can do, in terms of using money, right? Every single pass that the events happen and you're trying to upgrade an event unit, that's basically $10. It's $10 to do that, but you need 3 copies. So you would need to play the same event 3 times, equaling $30 in order to upgrade this from 13 to 14. Whereas if you bought the season pass twice, that would be $20 essentially. And it would cost, you'd be saving $10 using a Book of Secrets on a Spirit Master, as opposed to waiting 3 go-arounds, right? That's when it becomes really, really beneficial, to use your Book of Secrets on a, event unit. It's probably the best kind of unit the best kind of unit to use a Book of Secrets on, because of that investment into buying the event pass. You can't just get them naturally. You have to basically spend the $10 on an event pass to get a event unit, and to upgrade that event unit. And so that's why Spirit Master, I am all into Forest Faction. I'll get into that in 1 second. Just really quickly, this is the last of my, if I didn't scroll down far enough, these are the rest of my units. Tesla, I did upgrade from 8 to 9. I think I'm going to upgrade it from 10 to 11 so I can get the other talent. And then after Spirit Master, I'm probably going to start using Book of Secrets on Teslas. Because that investment is also going to be pretty high if I keep buying the pass. But in terms of Spirit Master, I have focused all of my equipment on Forest Faction. I love Blade Dancer. Spirit Master is one of the best units in the game. And so I have lucked out into a lot of Force Faction equipment. I just finished maxing out my Hunter's Jacket, even though Hunter's Jacket and Crit Bow are not things that people really use. I have been trying to max them out so that I can then so I can have a max set to use and then focus on trying to re-roll spears and mage robes, because I just don't have a spear or mage robe in Forest Faction. Although I do have both of these as a sub Forest Faction, so I wouldn't be getting the faction set bonus, the plus 10% on everything, but I would be able to use a Forest Faction spear. And maybe that's just good enough. I've played against a lot of people who have just wacky factions, but they have the actual, there's only the one thing that you should be running. It should be spear, mage robe, and growth tile. Those are the only 3 equipments that any real player uses, any real player who knows anything about equipment. There is no reason to run any other equipment. Those are the best equipments. Hunter's Jacket, maybe you could say, has a place in a clock deck. If you ran Amulet of Weakness, Hunter's Jacket, and then a clock type deck, that could be a benefit. But outside of that, the only thing that you should be running is Spear, Mage Robe, growth tile. I remember when I used to think poorly about Mage Robe, and I think we all did for a very long time, thinking that, oh, well, like eventually you just get infinite mana, so it doesn't matter. But the thing about Mage Robe is that it stuns the progression of your early game, to where your opponent, if you're not running Mage Robe against them using Mage Robe on you, they're progressing at a normal rate. At double bosses, they have the amount of total mana that you could be at double bosses. Whereas you probably have at double bosses the amount of mana that you would probably have it still if you were at single bosses. Once you get into triple bosses, maybe you then have the collective mana of what you would have at double bosses. And that just compounds over the course of the game. That's not even to say whether or not they're using witches on you or shamans on you or running any kind of toxic deck. Then it just gets even that much worse for you. When they're mana denying you at the beginning of the game with Mage Robe, and then they're trying to shaman down your units so that you have to spend more. And that's another reason why Summoner increasing the cost at the level 11 talent, that's why that's so good, because then that's even more punishing. And that's another reason why everybody runs Summoner. It's because Mage Robe is so good now. So outside of those equipments, I'm almost done with my Crit Bow. I think Crit Bow is fine. I think that it's the best part, it's the best outside of Spear. Spear is more beneficial in pretty much every way. If you can attack quicker, you will be doing more crits and you will be doing more damage. So if you thought that the Knight Sword is also good, it's not, because if you can attack faster, you're doing more damage. And then if you can attack faster, you're doing more crits. And that's why it's so good. But outside of that, my hero setup, these are all my heroes. I'm almost done with Bestie, even though I'm never going to use it. I have the level 20 Trainer, the level 20 J. I'm almost at a level 20 Trickster, almost at a level 20 Elementalist. I do have the Elementalist heroic item, and that's the only heroic item that I've ever obtained. I have 30 out of 50 for the next heroic item. My gadget's at 16, almost 17. The level 13 Snowflake, the level 11 Mari is amazing. And the fact that it gets even better than what it currently is at level 11 with a level 15 is insane to me. I'm almost at a level 10, Mermaid. And I say almost, but that's a really soft almost. But as soon as I get to level 10, you get the attack speed increase. Actually, this is pre-nerf, because they're going to nerf Mermaid, and I don't know if all of these, I have a feeling that all of these talents are going to start switching around, because I don't think that Hidden Defense is going to be at 5. I think at the very least, it'll be at 10, and at the very most, it'll be at level 15, and if they don't change, change, or if they don't nerf it in this way, they're gonna nerf the bubbles, or I don't know what their plan is. But in terms of right now, I feel safe with my mermaid at 9, because even if they change the hidden defense to 10, I'm almost to 10. If they change it to 15, then, you know, that's just a problem. But I don't know. I think a level 9 mermaid is pretty good. The level 1 Jake Paul, that's never going up. Level 1 Flicker, they're buffing Flicker, and I am really excited to see if they're going to make it to where it has the ability to move any number of tiles like a Portal Keeper, because if they do that, I feel like I might run it in Blooming Dash Blade Dancer. I thought about it and I was like, but then you don't have the cleanse, and that's the main, you know, benefit of running Portal Keeper. But then they changed the wording on Blooming Dash Blade Dancer's Elegant Parry, and they said, like, if you move this unit, it has a 35% chance of cleansing. And that never made sense to me, because I was like, well, the only way that you would move it is Portal Keeper, and Portal Keeper automatically cleanses. So why would the 35% cleanse is just redundant, unless they did it because you can now move units with Flicker. But then the problem with Flicker is that Flicker only moves one space at a time. And if they make it to where it can move any number of spaces, like a Portal Keeper, if you could take a Portal Keeper out of Blooming Dash Blade Dancer and put in anything else, if you could run like Night Statue and Trapper and run the same set, that would be insane. That would be insane for Blade Dancer. But, you know, like, we'll see. I am working on Necromancer. I have 11 shards. I'm going to get 4 more shards out of I've been buying the Rush for Glory packs. And by I mean and the problem with like Necromancer and getting it in the same way that Zeus is, because you get Zeus the exact same way. It costs 2,000 to get 4 shards. But if you buy the pass, you essentially get 1,800, which is obviously the amount for a hero. So you don't necessarily get one, or when you buy it, you don't get 4 shards right out the gate. You have to wait a month wait until the event comes back and then get it again. And then you have like spillover, and then it just keeps rotating like that. So right now I'm almost at 2,000. And so by this time I'll get it right in my next thing. But then I'll get 100, 150, and then 1,000. And so I won't have enough for another one, but then next one I will. But then I'll have like less than. It's very strange how they did the math on this, and why it's also very strange why they decided to make it like that, as opposed to just making it 1,800 to get 4, and then 4, and then 4, and then 4. And the thing about the reason why I even decided to do this was, one, I knew that eventually I would have to anyway. Like, that's just the logical next step to take your heroes. If you want to spend money in this game, you either should invest in Necromancer or Zeus. Arguably, Zeus is the better hero. I just think Necromancer, because of all of the buff changes to it, and how they fundamentally changed it to where you didn't just have to run it it just wasn't just good in a toxic deck. You could technically run it in an aggressive deck and it would still be kind of good. That's what I really like about it. I think that it's really good. It's obviously something that you definitely need in the toxic deck. So if I were to build that, I would already have Necromancer. But I think that even outside of that, you can use it in a regular aggressive deck, like in an Inquisitor deck, in a Blooming Dash Blade Dancer deck, in a Cultist deck, and it's still kind of okay. It still kind of functions, more so than it used to anyway. And so that's why I decided to go for Necromancer as opposed to Zeus. But the other thing that I like about legendary heroes, I believe that after you do the initial 25 investment to get it, to unlock it just in general, after that, for a number of levels, you only need 5 shards, and then it upgrades, and then 5 shards, and then it upgrades. I believe A Friend Gaming had it in his Discord, and it was a list of how many total tokens that you need to upgrade legendaries. And I think I saw that, and I was like, oh wow, that's like basically every single time you the pass comes around, every single time the Rush for Glory event comes around, you're just constantly upgrading it. Once you do the initial investment of 25 shards, then it becomes much easier to just upgrade it and upgrade it and upgrade it and upgrade it. It isn't the same kind of investment that an epic hero has. Like, you don't need, they're not going to require you eventually to have 66 necromancer shards, or, you know, in the same way that to get to 16, you're not required to have 800 common shards, right? They scaled it, and I think that that's important. But yeah, that's just a snapshot of just everything that I currently have. I have the one heroic item. As soon as I've now completed the hunter's jacket, so I think I'm gonna probably pour all of my attention into just opening these. Because I think that all I need now is just a mage robe. I just need, like, common mage robes, and it's basically impossible to just randomly get them. But I think that's what's gonna have to happen now. I don't care about any of these, so I'm probably just going to disassemble them and then keep pulling that 2,000 or the 200 armor shards, because that's all I need now. I just need a mage robe. And that makes that decision easy. I think after the crit bow, I'm probably going to start farming weapons. And then growth style, I'm not even kind of close. Like, you need so many. Like, to go from, 14 to 15, I need 2,800 weapon shards just to go from 14 to 15, and this goes to 20. So to go from 9 to 10, I need 1,800. You can imagine how many equipment fragments I need. So this is getting like a max growth tile is going to take absolutely forever, but the payoff is incredibly worth it. Like, the amount of damage that you're getting from a growth tile is absolutely insane if you use it correctly. But yeah, that's just, I just kind of, I don't do a lot of like specific updates on like my entire account. But I just thought I would do one. And if anything, this is just for myself, and I can look at this in like a year and be like, oh wow, look at me. I did so much. But yeah,